First of all, I would like to express my greetings and respect to everyone who contributed to the opening of such an important channel. Enlightened by the perfection of Master Mustafa Altun with knowledge and love, let us begin by introducing him. The family of my esteemed peer migrated from Khorasan to Anatolia in the 13th or 14th century, passing through Malatya and settling in Anatolia for a while, before moving to Tunceli and then to Erzincan. Master was born on April 12, 1934, in Erzincan, and is a Sayyid both from his mother and father's side, tracing his lineage back to Imam Kafir, Imam Hussein, and Imam Ali, all linked to the Prophet Muhammad. There is an extensive lineage record spanning approximately 4 pages for this lineage. Engaged in Melamet since 1973, my peer received his initial spiritual lessons from the great saints Hoca Ahmet Yesevi and his son, Haydar Sultan. Later, embarking on the path with the perfect Melamet guide, Hasan Özlem Efendi, my peer, entrusted with the duty of guidance in 1996, spent 27 of the past 50 years fulfilling this responsibility. He has nurtured hundreds of students in the School of Perfect Knowledge and continues to do so. Well, what is Melamet? When asked what Melamet is, we can say it is an umbrella of truth whose definition is not easily possible, encompassing a journey that is endless, covering both Sharia, dervish order, practicing the wisdom, and the secret of the core truth. It is the path of annihilation in God and becoming eternal through God, culminating in eternal life in the hereafter, adorned with sheer and observing. Since describing this path in words is virtually impossible, it can only be learned through the breaths taken under the guidance of a perfect guide. Melamet is the path of those who attain the secret of die before you die through their voluntary death, before the inevitable death arrives. Melamet, stemming from the root levam, means to rebuke oneself and not to fear the rebuke of those who rebuke. The Quran contains numerous verses regarding Melamet, especially in Surah Al-Ma'idah, as mentioned in verses 54 and 55, those who do not fear the criticism of the critics. And in verse 55, the believers who establish prayer and give zakat, wherein the revelation of this verse came when Ali, in his prayer, gave his ring to a poor person while in prostration in the presence of God. This attitude of the Melamet is outlined in these verses. The essence here is both self-criticism and the effort to rid oneself of hidden polytheism, because the journey implies the spiritual refinement of the ego, and for that ego to become purified like the breath of the Most Merciful. The process of purification can only be achieved through the breath proclaimed in the verse, I breathed into him of my spirit. This is not a philosophy, psychology, or a science to be learned from lines, but solely an experiential state, not knowledge of the heart, but the state of the heart. Therefore, a spiritual operation must be performed first, which only a perfect guide can do. How should the concepts of God's will to be known and hidden polytheism be related to the sacred hadith, he who knows himself knows his Lord? Here, it is essential to focus on God's will to be known. Questions about the truth of this matter are frequently asked. It is necessary to understand well the process of the divine essence, the process of reaching the truth through the manifestations that emerge alongside the divine names and attributes that the Lord, an invisible treasure, adorned with the light of Muhammad. One should not forget the secret of the divine gem that one carries both externally as the names and internally as essence. God is known through people. However, because this truth is not understood, the greatest sin of duality is committed by beings living within apparent entities through the existence granted by the names. God does not accept duality, as he does not accept the expression one is me and one is God. Melamet emphasizes this hidden polytheism. There is nothing other than God's actions, attributes, and essence. Here, God, who desires to be known by all manifestations, also enjoys those listed because they are his own property. The names, effects, actions, attributes, and existence are all unique to him. In the world of multiplicity, we consider ourselves to exist by looking at our material structure. However, when we return from the world of multiplicity to the realm of unity, we truly comprehend that the external appearance is from the hidden world, which is the will of God, as our esteemed peer says. This journey is a journey that leads to the knowledge of God and the secret of truth, and it is not limited to the outward and inward aspects of Islam. Understanding the religion of unity, which does not leave man in transcendence and immanence, and then realizing that unity ends where it begins, means starting to enjoy witnessing. Since reunion is involved here, there is a sense of pleasure, observation, view, servitude, divinity, and worship merge, leaving no difference. The lover and the beloved become one. The lover and the beloved are the same. Pleasure belongs to God. He manifests to himself through himself. This is why it is crucial to understand, comprehend, and furthermore live Melamet. Understanding the knowledge of God's attributes, descending to himself and living it through comprehension and spiritual state, and reaching the closeness of knowledge to the reality of I was a hidden treasure, can only be possible by swearing allegiance to the perfect guide. Those who swear allegiance will increasingly marvel as they journey on, as mentioned in Surah Al-Fath, verse 10, where the reality of the perfect guide is discussed. While discussing Melamet earlier, I attempted to provide brief and concise definitions. However, when evaluated in terms of the historical process period by period, especially in the last 30 years, it is realized that the era of cosmic miracles has closed and the era of miraculous knowledge has begun. The first period of Melamet began in the time of Hamdun Qasar, as innovations emerged after the passing of the Messenger of God, causing deviation from the truth of Sharia, necessitating its establishment. After a while, the second period of Melamet was established in the 15th century by Haji Bayram Veli, and it was named the Melamet of Bayramiye period. During this period, rigid rules gave way to more flexible, tolerant methods. Subsequently, in the 19th century, during the time of Muhammad Nurul Arabi, Melamet began, and with various innovations, it was systematized and rejuvenated. Today, in our century, as stated by our perfected master, Master Sayyid Mustafa Altan, knowing oneself is the highest form of knowledge. The era of cosmic miracles has ended, making way for the era of miraculous knowledge with the winds of love, affection, and knowledge. Love and knowledge, as the two wings, dive the traveler into oceans, enabling the soul bird to fly out of its cage. The fourth period of Melamet, known as Melamet of Al-Tuniye, opened by Master Mustafa Altun, is particularly emphasized as a century that focuses deeply on the miraculous knowledge. It holds significant importance in the spread of the knowledge of divine unity, because this era is the age of knowing oneself and one's Lord, so that afterwards one may be granted to drink from the fountains of divine knowledge. I would like to conclude my words with the blessed words of our peer. Melamet means to give one's heart to a perfect guide and to be in perfect harmony with both his heart and his soul. I wish you all healthy, knowledgeable, and loving days.